What if the World Cup celebration could last forever? Thanks to Seattle-Tacoma International Airport and some talented local artists, it can. Among the many pieces of artwork installed at the airport earlier this summer in celebration of Seattle's World Cup matches is Rachel Comer's two-tiered bronze cake at door 29. Beside the cake, a pair of bronze hands hold out a party plate, waiting for a slice. The cake inspires travelers to enjoy a moment of curiosity, humor, and connection among the hustle and bustle of the airport. The hands are cast from the artist's own, using a traditional lost wax bronze casting process, creating a personal touch on this whimsical piece. Is it a welcome, a farewell, or just a sweet piece of art? For travelers passing through the airport, it's a reminder that celebrations may end, but the memories and the art they inspire remain long after the crowds are gone. Experience Rachel Comer's artwork at door 29 in departures and discover your own interpretation.
Congressman Adam Smith clears the first hurdle toward a new term. The longtime incumbent tops the primary field for Washington's 9th district, pulling in about half the vote. Now, under Washington's top two system, the highest vote getters advance to November, no matter what their party is. That second spot, King 5 now projects, goes to Republican Doug Basler, setting up a sixth face-off between the two. But perhaps the bigger story is who doesn't make the cut. Shama Sawant, the former Seattle City Council member known for her fiery socialist politics, falls short.
We owe it to the material realities of a fight against capitalism to not leave tonight demoralized. Guess what? Yes, there will be setbacks.
Sawant spent a decade as a polarizing figure in Seattle politics. Now her bid for Congress comes up short, with Democrat Melissa Chowdhury right behind her. Smith and Basler meet again in November.
Video from April 20th shows an ICE agent patting a man down as multiple other people sit leaning against a dumpster. This is the aftermath of an arrest that targeted workers from the premier packing location in Lynden, a seafood packing plant.
But it's all targeting one employer.
Jeremy Darrow runs Racial Unity Now, an immigrant rights advocacy group serving Whatcom County.
One of the things that makes us unique is it's along roadsides, it's on public thoroughfares, it's even been at, some of the incidents have been at people's place of residence as well.
The arrests continued in what Darrow calls a soft raid, meaning ICE agents targeted premier packing employees near and around the property, but never actually inside the plant. This happened multiple times in May, leaving behind empty cars filled with private belongings. Then again in July. This Ring security camera captures the chaotic moment of workers scattering as they run away from agents.
Over 50 people have been detained, deported.
You know, our immigrant neighbors just are so frightened.
Kathy Kuba with Immigrant Justice Coalition of Whatcom fears the arrests won't stop.
We've come up with single digits in January, February. March came up to probably in the 12s, and since then we've been in the 20s each month.
And their location makes it a hotbed for activity.
We are right here on the second busiest border crossing in the U.S. with Canada.
What we've seen here with Premier Packing is just practice for a new approach to enforcement.
After lightning destroyed this church steeple, look at it now. Back in November, a lightning strike tore through the steeple at Sarin Lutheran First Presbyterian Church in Hoquiam, sending debris onto nearby streets and leaving a major hole in the top of a 100-year-old building. Now, the church says its new steeple is complete, and there's another piece of good news. The rebuilt steeple will house new speakers for the church's bell system. Those are expected to be installed this week, meaning the sound of church bells could soon ring once again.
I want to take time and thank high school basketball coaching legend Tim Kelly and his family. Coach Kelly sadly passed away yesterday. He's been battling prostate cancer since 2010. Tim Kelly is simply one of the best to ever coach the game in the state of Washington. 5 state titles, 3 with Curtis and 2 with Lincoln High. He coached 32 seasons at Curtis and Lincoln. Coach Kelly won 12 4A SPSL titles, and in 2009, he was inducted into the Washington State Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. I had the pleasure to watch a couple of his practices at Curtis. He was tough. He was hard. He was honest. He would make you work. but he knew how to get the best out of each and every one of his teams and players. Coach Kelly, a loving husband, father, teacher, coach, and person. He not only made his players better on the court, he developed them to be better human beings off the court. He was a second dad to many of those kids you see right there. On social media and on the news, we spent a lot of time, maybe too much time, talking about the coaches that break rules. We should spend more time talking about coaches like that man, Tim Kelly. Coaches that give their heart to the game and their school. He will go down as one of the best in state history. I know changing names of courts is not easy. You got to go through political loops, but I'm sure there will be a moment one day when we are watching basketball games at Tim Kelly Court at Curtis High School. Rest in peace, Coach Kelly. My prayers to all your family and friends out there. Your legacy will live on.
A man who was severely injured at Birch Bay water slides in 2023 is getting a $4 million settlement. The accident happened August 25th when 42-year-old Larry Baker was badly hurt on a water slide. The incident forced the water park to close early for the season. Court records show Birch Bay water slides, Safe Slide, and Kingworks will all contribute to the settlement. Baker's attorney says the money will help provide for his future needs and allow his family to move forward. Before the accident, an engineering report had identified issues including water damage, rusted nails, and cracked concrete supports, with recommendations for repairs before the 2023 season. The park remained closed in 2024 while working to regain compliance and later passed an engineering inspection in 2025. The water park is closed again, however, for the 2026 season.
Please rise. This is the man who prosecutors say intentionally started what would become the most destructive fire in the Spokane complex.
State of Washington versus Aaron Farinacci.
We had to leave because our house burned down.
And how long?
We have nothing left.
Hundreds of homes reduced to the foundations. A 37-year-old charged with arson, and a community left emotionally raw.
We were living in a nightmare that we think we're going to wake up and everything is going to be okay, but it's not.
Sherry Taylor lost her home in the fire.
We just wish we could just wake up and it's all better.
As she heads to court to sort tax records, 2 stories above, Aaron Farinacci's bail was set for $1 million.
It was citizens who were paying attention to their surroundings, being aware and willing to step up and say something.
Investigators say tips from the public led them to arrest Farinacci. They found him with waterproof matches and a lighter, but they didn't have enough evidence to arrest him. Court records reveal Farinacci told officers he was not in the area of the fire and that the people who called the police did not know the whole story.
New details tonight on what triggered a Mesa man to murder his own father.
Records show Farinacci was convicted in Arizona of manslaughter and aggravated assault in the 2010 killing of his father. Meanwhile, the fight against the fire continues.
I can't believe how evil people can be. That should never happen. There's over 700 people lost their homes. They need to just put them away. People like that shouldn't even exist. It's pure evil.
Seattle's favorite raccoon is now helping raise money for injured and orphaned wildlife. I'm Bethany on the King News Desk, and a small Seattle business, Knuckleball Shop, created a limited edition Rally Jimothy t-shirt inspired by Ballard's favorite raccoon. Now, $3 from every shirt sold through August 31st will be donated to Paws Wildlife Center in Snohomish, which rehabilitates injured and orphaned wild animals. The shop says Jimothy has become part of Ballard's forever family, and they wanted to turn all the love for the internet-famous raccoon into something that gives back. The shirts are available to anyone who wants to support the effort. The goal is to turn Jimothy's internet fame into real support for injured and orphaned wildlife here in Washington.
Donald Trump has approved federal emergency assistance for Washington as crews continue battling the Spokane area fires. The declaration will help pay for firefighting efforts and allows the agency to send personnel, equipment, and other resources where they are needed most.
This is an emergency declaration, and what that means is it moves very short-term assistance. That could be temporary shelter. That includes medical supplies. That is search and rescue. So I appreciate the fact that the federal government was not waiting around for the final approval. They understand how dire the situation is for so many Washingtonians. So that short-term assistance will really help us help folks who have just literally lost everything in the last 48 hours.
The assistance covers 6 counties, including Spokane, Stevens, Okanagan, Ferry, Chelan, and Yakima, along with 3 tribal nations.
Just today, I met a family of 6 and their 3 cats who described the chaos of trying to evacuate and not knowing which direction to go and feeling like there was fire all around them in every direction they looked, and running up against roadblocks and trying to, turn around and get to safety. That kind of story we've heard over and over again. We're still very much in the initial phase. We're also approaching the 4th night that people have been away from their homes, and they are eager to get to that next step. We can't emphasize enough how important it is to follow the guidance of local emergency officials to know when it is safe to go back, when it's safe to go back and check on your home, because we still have active fires burning, and at any moment the conditions could change.
Beyond shelter, what else does the Red Cross provide?
So we're working closely with local partners to provide meals, 3 meals a day for everyone. We're working with local restaurants to provide meals and to source those meals for folks. We are really working hard to provide for the mental health services and the health services in general of the folks who are showing up at our shelters, specifically here in Spokane.
And Betsy, as we've mentioned, King 5 has partnered with the Red Cross to support the relief efforts that are ongoing. If someone is watching and they donate today, how is that money being used?
Those dollars are critical to making sure that we have the resources we need to provide all the things. You are really fueling this entire response, making it possible for the Red Cross to be here. And we're keenly aware of the fire threat that's happening across the state and the number of shelters that we have in and around the Chelan area and the Yakima area and north here in Stevens County. So it's not only in Spokane, we are mobilized and putting ourselves in a position with these resources to be able to respond wherever a need arises in Washington state.
We're here at the command post at Mount Spokane High School, where firefighters just left for another long day of fighting these fires. We've seen crews from all over, from New York, Alaska, San Bernardino County in California, Arizona, and even Salt Lake City here. Crews have actually been staying here at the high school. Many packed up to go to the fairgrounds today as the firefighting operation continues to expand. We're told the number of firefighters is expected to grow to more than 2,000. Crews wrapped up their operations meeting this morning, and there's been some good news over the last 24 hours. Control lines have been established around all 3 fires, which is a very important step in slowing their spread. As for acreage, the Fairview fire has burned 1,041 acres, the Old Trails fire has burned 3,621 acres, and the Autumn Lane fire is now at 5,869 acres. And the Autumn Lane fire and Old Trails fire are both 13% contained. The Fairview fire is now 5% contained. I spoke with one volunteer early this morning who's helping supply fire crews with new boots.
These firefighters came from all over the nation, and they're here working, and the work is not over. It's going to be a long haul. And so the local companies here and all just the regular community, we're stepping up because this is our home front.
The outpouring of support from the community here in Spokane has been incredible. So many donations, including large cases of water. You have snacks, even essential everyday items like deodorant or shaving items as well. So really the community has come together in droves. I talked to a PIO earlier this morning, a public information officer, who says he's never seen anything like this. So a lot of amazing community supports here for firefighters and for those who have lost homes here in the Spokane area fires.
All right, I made it here to the Gorge Amphitheatre. I can't wait to go behind the scenes. Let's go, let's go.
This amphitheater to me is one of the most unique, therefore greatest venues in the world. It's where music, landscape, and community all kind of intersect.
What's new this year?
So for this year, we've definitely expanded our camping options. More specifically with our vineyard camping option, which provides a more upgraded experience.
Well, this is definitely not normal camping, I would say.
Definitely not.
I mean, it's pretty out there for me, and then you have a perfect view as well.
Yeah, so right now we're at the pivot, which is the heartbeat of the campground. This is where people can get supplies.
So let's say that you came here and you forgot a lot of things. No problem, just go to the camp store.
They can get drinks, food, we'll have vendors set up for them to buy clothes. Also having group activities to really promote that community and make people feel a sense of togetherness.
Just look at the view from this bar. Wow, this is impressive.
Right?
It is impressive.
For me, this is what caps off the experience. So many iconic artists have played on this stage and so many more to come.
If you live in the Northwest and you hate wildfire smoke like I do, I just found a really great site that will help you illustrate where the smoke is coming from and where it's going. The good news is if you live here in the Seattle area, we're gonna see this clear out in a couple of days. Here's why I know that. Check this out. This is firesmoke.ca. Firesmoke.ca. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in here on Seattle. And this is, if you live in Western Washington, this is what you're seeing right now. Look how bad it is in Ferry County, Spokane, of course, down in Oregon. It's just awful. But as I push this forward, you can speed it up and you can see the timeline. Look at that, it really clears out on Friday. This is today, this is tomorrow, this is Friday, and we look to be in the clear. So that's just a re-loop there. So bottom line is you're gonna get some winds coming from the ocean, blowing onto shore. They call them onshore winds. And it's gonna blow it all out of here, which is good news because I hate the smoke. And remember, I have Obliterate on Saturday. Don't forget to donate.
Well, this is one long-awaited day for Washington State because today, August 5th, 2026, construction begins on a brand new ferry for Washington. This is the first new boat built for Washington in 11 years. The shipbuilder is Eastern Shipbuilding Group in Florida. It started construction on what could be the first of 3 160-vehicle hybrid electric ferries. Now, this vessel is sorely needed. The state has 11 of 21 ferries that are over the age of 40. The oldest is 67 years old. Governor Bob Ferguson has called it a crisis here in Washington State and made some changes to existing plans to get boats on the water more quickly. While there was some controversy about building the ferry out of state, Ferguson's office says the Eastern Shipbuilding Company bid has saved Washington taxpayers $360 million.
Going to air resources, we've been having a lot of struggle with people that are flying drones in our temporary restriction areas, our TFR areas. Huge concern because we have to ground all resources when they do that. We have fixed wing, we also have rotor wings, so we have helicopters, air tankers trying to assist the ground resources, and it's a huge danger for them as well as the danger for the firefighters on the ground because they don't have that support. So it is a federal crime. $50,000 fine, 5 years in prison if you get caught. We had already over 40 incursions of these drone operators. So we take it extremely serious. Law enforcement is working with us to find out who is doing this. And that's one of our struggles that we're dealing with currently.
All right, I made it here to the Gorge Amphitheatre. I can't wait to go behind the scenes. Let's go. Let's go.
This amphitheater to me is one of the most unique, therefore greatest venues in the world. It's where music, landscape, and community all kind of intersect.
What's new this year?
So for this year, we've definitely expanded our camping options. More specifically with our vineyard camping option, which provides a more upgraded experience.
Well, this is definitely not normal camping, I will say.
Definitely not.
I mean, it's pretty out there for me, and then you have a perfect view as well.
Yeah, so right now we're at the pivot, which is the heartbeat of the campground. This is where people can get supplies.
So let's say that you came here and you forgot a lot of things. No problem, just go to the camp store.
They can get drinks, food, we'll have vendors set up for them to buy clothes. Also having group activities to really promote that community and make people feel a sense of togetherness.
Just look at the view from this bar. Wow, this is impressive.
Right?
It is impressive.
For me, this is what caps off the experience. So many iconic artists have played on this stage and so many more to come.
This is part of the Ineot Valley drainage, and this road is something that has officials extremely concerned because there's only one way in, one way out, and you can see here that the fire is burning extremely close to the road.
She's a good girl.
This little dog, Gypsy, is one of the only things Lexi McKee has to hold on to remember her father.
Kiss.
Gypsy belonged to Lexi's dad, Ron, who left her life far too soon.
It just seems surreal. It doesn't seem real at all.
Ron Berry died last month when a driver slammed into his pickup truck at 132nd and Smoky Point Boulevard in Marysville. He was 55 years old. The impact crushing the front end of Ron's 6,000-pound Ford F-250. Berry's fiancée, Shalise, was seriously injured with broken bones now held together by plates, screws, and staples.
It's hard. It's hard to be able to move forward from this.
It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the couple delivering Uber Eats to put food on the table for their family. Shalise at her fiancé's side when her life changed in an instant.
She remembers like waking up in the truck and looking over, and my dad slumped over the steering wheel, and she's trying to say, Ron, wake up, you know.
Ron Berry leaves behind 15 children. He was raising 5 kids with Shalise, the youngest not even a year old. The family now left with emotional and financial needs that'll be tough to fill.
By now, you've probably already heard that this man, 37-year-old Aaron Fornacci, is being accused of starting the Old Trails fire, the most destructive of the 3 burning in Spokane. But now we've learned that last year, authorities questioned him during 2 separate fire investigations in Spokane. He wasn't charged in those fires, though. Going back even further, he was convicted for manslaughter and aggravated assault. Court docs say that when he was 21 years old, he shot and killed his adoptive father after they got into an argument over washing the dishes. Fornacci is a resident of Spokane.